What's going on, guys? It's Tyler. Wanted to talk through a subject today. Basically, what to do as a young or old person, but kind of targeted at younger individuals. Why to start investing early. What types of accounts to be kind of looking into. I was 18. I didn't know anything about investing in 401ks and IRAs and other retirement funds, stocks, bonds, all that fun stuff. So the earlier you start investing, the better. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Compound interest, accumulation of funds, things like that. It will, benefit you to start investing today or yesterday, as soon as you possibly can. And I'll show you some graphs later in the video comparing 40 years of investing from 18 to 58 or from 28 to 68. The difference that 10 years would make. In your total balance and what you end up with at the end. Again, on the 18 to 58, you aren't going to leave, aren't going to put any more money in for that extra 10 years. But again, can guarantee you're going to end up with more money. So what are the best ways to invest for retirement as a young person? 18 to 30. So the one everyone hears about is a 401k. So what's a 401k? Essentially, it's an employer-sponsored retirement plan for the employees. Bottom line is, it's a way for employers to add benefits to employees by giving them something to be able to invest in directly through the employer. So how is it different from like an IRA, 401k, a Roth IRA, those sort of things? So 401k specifically is through your employer. The biggest benefit of a 401k is employer matches. So essentially, it's free money. If you have an employer that is going to match a percentage of what you are investing, they're essentially giving you a bonus every paycheck. They're taking part of what you were contributing to your retirement and matching it. So a lot of employers will match a percentage. A lot of them will match up to a certain amount. So my employer specifically will match the first 3% and then half of the next 2%. So if I invest 5%, they'll match 4%. So that's quite a bit of money over the course of time. I mean, obviously it makes a huge difference, and you'd be dumb to not want to take that. Again, even if you don't have the best retirement fund set up or the best plan set up through the employer, maybe a little bit higher fees, things like that. Even if that's the case, that employer match makes a huge difference. Long term, obviously, you're investing almost double every month of what you're actually putting into it. So a 401k is tax deferred. So you're basically putting money in that has not had taxes taken out of it. It's coming directly out of your paycheck before it gets the federal taxes and going into that account. It's great because it's more money going in originally. More money that's in your paycheck more money going in that hasn't been touched by the taxes. But the issue with it is you have to pay taxes when you withdraw it. So again, it's one of those things that sometimes it's better to have it taken out now. Sometimes it's better to have it taken out later. But 401k, that's how it works. It's tax deferred. It's pre-tax income that's going towards the investment, meaning it's going to grow, and then you get taxed on it when you withdraw it. Again, the biggest benefit to 401k is it's through your employer. It's going to be automatically taken out of your paycheck, so you barely even have to see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. Automatic withdrawal. And again, you get that employer match, which is basically like a bonus every month. So the other one I would look into as a younger person, and again, if you're not that young, you'd still look into these, but these work a lot better for a younger individual, is a Roth IRA. So you've heard of an IRA, individual retirement account, and a Roth IRA. What's the difference? Basically, like we were talking about 401ks, is that was pre-taxed income. That's what an IRA would be, is pre-tax. A Roth IRA is post-tax. So you've got in your net paycheck, they took their 25% federal taxes and whatever, and you have $1,000 an actual paycheck coming into your hand, you're taking your what you're putting towards your Roth IRA out of that paycheck. So it's already been taxed. So the great benefit to that is it's going to grow tax exempt. It's already been taxed. Everything that happens to that money, unless you accrue some other fee, you take it out early or something else happens, that money is basically the money that you're going to be able to touch. You have $1 million at the age of 65, you have $1 million at the age of 65. If you have $1 million in your 401k, you have your $1 million minus 40% tax or 20% tax, or whatever it ends up being. So again, when you look at the same, I mean, you're putting more money into your 401k originally, and you end up with probably a higher total amount, but that money has to be taxed. Your Roth IRA, that money is there and accessible, and you could, use it, and you're not going to get any taxes on it. So growing tax exempt, is a huge benefit. When you compare and contrast and what's going to give you a better rate of return and things like that, I mean, they're comparable. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But the benefit is, as a younger person, you're anticipating that you're going to be making more money when you're, high 50s, low 60s than you make when you're 25. And your tax rate is probably, you would hope, you would hope your taxes are always low, but you would assume your taxes are going to be higher. Your tax rate is going to be higher when you're closer to retirement age. So when do you want to be taxed? Do you want to be taxed now? Or do you want to be taxed, when you're ready to retire and you want to access that money? Again, it's up to you in that, but generally, as a young person, you are going to assume you're going to be taxed higher, down the road. So you want that money to grow tax exempt. You don't even have to worry about taxes when you're taking it out. That money is your money. You don't have to worry about anything else when you're taking it out, and it's basically good to go. So I'm going to add in some graphs in here. 401k comparing, the growth between the age of when you contributed from 18 to 58 and when you compared from 28 to 68. Again, same amount of time investing, same amount invested over that amount of time, but look at the difference in the actual amount that you end up with at the end. Same, I'll add the Roth IRA here. Again, it's the same idea. They're both growing, according to, the same rates and same, inflation and stuff like that. But you can see how big of a difference it makes that 10 years. And just sitting there for 10 years, not, you're not putting any extra money in, but the, interest is still accruing, and it's, giving you, obviously, have longer to grow and just gain extra money. So the bottom line of this whole entire video is start vesting as soon as you can. Putting money towards your retirement, having that money work for you. You'll grow with the stock market. Again, you're always going to see, ups and downs, but if it grows, what the average stock market is, 8 to 10%, minus inflation, call it 6 to 8%, and, be conservative with it. It's still, just going to keep compounding over and over and over again, as long as you start, earlier. If you wait, you're going to put just as much money in and end up with less at the end. So what does it come down to as far as, where to start investing with some of this stuff? So your 401k obviously is going to go through your employer. If your employer doesn't offer them, ask them if there's something they can start setting up for you. If it's a small company, it's understandable. They need a certain size group to usually be able to get this stuff going. But it's something to ask about when you're interviewing and looking into jobs if they offer 401k plans. So that one, obviously, you don't have as much control over, but you want to get it going as soon as you can. IRAs, Roth IRAs, you can find them anywhere. I mean, really, they're off. If you Google it or look it up online, you could find 100 places where you can go invest them. But the thing to be looking out for is you want something you can get into for not much money. You obviously, if you're starting this when you're young, you don't have 10 grand to start your account or something. So you don't want to be able to have to do that. So the places to really look are the big investment companies, Vanguard, Fidelity, even any of the like small investment type of things. Like I used to use Acorns, and I like that because it would kind of round up, stuff invest for you. But what I recommend and what I've been using for a while is a site called Betterment. And essentially what that is, it's an automated investing platform where you can start with really no money. You can start with $100, $200, and start your account right away. They have low fees. They offer, I believe, like Vanguard, index funds, and they have a huge assortment of different funds you can work with. But again, the best thing about that platform is it's extremely passive. If you're not the type of person that's going to be picking and choosing your stocks, and you don't want to mess around with different strategies and all this sort of thing, it will basically, when you log in and set up your account, a strategy that's best for you, what your retirement age is, how far you are away, and what the best course of action is, and then it can adjust over the course of time. But again, like mine, since I'm in my mid-20s, I invest me heavily in stocks as opposed to bonds, which are a little more risky but have more growth potential. So when I do that, it's going to invest me how it thinks is necessary, primarily in index funds and stuff like that. But the great thing about Betterment as well is a lot of those programs are very low fees. Again, they're going to have you invested in very low fee index funds, which in my opinion are the best way to go. I mean, you can always be under the impression the mutual funds and these managed funds can get you a little better return, and that's what they advertise. But if you want a safe, secure investment and you don't even have to worry about it, you can invest it and forget it, basically set it, forget it. Go with an S&P 500 index fund where you're basically matching the market, maybe an international fund where it's matching international markets, stuff like that. And again, these sites will kind of take care of that stuff for you and invest it in a way that is kind of conducive to what you're trying to do, to what your risk tolerance is, to the time that you have until retirement, and that's the way to go. So I'll leave a link to Betterment down below. I personally use Betterment. I've been using them for a little while, and I've had great luck with them. And again, I am not a sophisticated investor by any means. I don't pick and choose stocks. Typically, I mess around a little bit, but I know the best ways to just kind of set it and forget it. Doing these index funds, doing simple, easy, not complicated type long-term investments, and that's how you're going to have a good idea of what you're going to have at the end, as far as 40 years from now, what you're going to be set up for retirement. So if you have any other questions about this, if you have a site you like to use, comment down below. If you have any questions about traditional versus Roth IRAs, obviously let me know. Again, there's a lot of information about that online. Again, if you enjoy this video, you like this sort of content, leave a like. Again, if you have any questions about this stuff, leave me a comment and subscribe. I hope to talk to you guys soon, and you have a good day.